In the midst of chaos, there's also opportunity. That's a quote from Sun Tzu, referencing the idea that when we are backed into a corner of some sort, or when we are low, when we're vulnerable, when we're at our worst, that's when the door opens to transform, right? And we talk about this all the time, right? I can give you an infinite amount of videos on this channel talking about moving into fear, that state of the unknown, breaking down what we know. And I think a lot of people hear that, but perhaps don't understand why. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because when I understood why, like so many things, my perspective changed, and this was a big one. It was big with regard to how I saw my life, my role in the trials and tribulations of the world. Why do one thing that scares you every day? Why do the difficult thing? And the best explanation I've ever heard, I was listening to one of Jordan Peterson's online lectures. He's talking about order and chaos, right? Our natural inclination, our understanding is that chaos equals bad, right? When we think chaos, we think moving pieces, we think, disaster, something we need to move away from. And that in itself is the problem. That instinct, or that rash, understanding. In reality, chaos is just as important as order. They are night and day. You can't have one without the other, and you need both. Too much order is when we are stuck in a status quo, when there is a lack of growth, when things are very structured, very simple, and they just feel the same, right? We become accustomed to a certain truth. That is order. Chaos is, as I've said in the past, taking something, smashing it against a wall, picking up those pieces and building something new. And upon building, you've changed whatever that was just a little bit. You've changed your understanding a little bit of yourself, of that object, and of the world, because life is a perpetual staircase. It is being on a step, stepping out into some crazy unknown where you no longer understand what is going on, leveling up, growing, figuring it out, picking those pieces up, and then moving on to the next step. It is building and breaking, and building and breaking, and building and breaking. So why step out into the unknown? The unknown is the only way to break the status quo. The unknown is the door into a next level, a new you, a new reality. When you look at it, human beings want to bucket things into good or bad, right? And when the reality is, most of the time, the truth and the value, the reality is in the gray area, right? So when we think about the good times, we think this is what we want. This is ideal. Things are fluid. They're simple. But that is antithetical to change, right? Change comes from chaos. Just like when I thought things were going wrong, my first thought was always, oh my God, the world's ending. This is not good. We need to find a way to completely mitigate this, to change the situation. Now, when the wheels fall off that metaphorical wagon, what I think is, well, here is the opportunity. Here's the opportunity to build that new step, to create a new order, so that I can live my life differently. See, we don't level up unless the situation around us requires that we do so. Sometimes life doesn't give us a choice, right? Sometimes the world backs us into a corner, but there are a lot of situations where we need to manufacture that chaos. We need to drive that change, climb up that ladder. It's funny to think about, some of those people that we emulate, that we look up to. And, people don't talk about the risks that were taken and how many times they picked up their life, they picked up their status quo and smashed it with a hammer so that they could rebuild it and have something a little bit more sturdy, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. That's how wisdom is created. When I look at that cycle now, and I see it as the answer. When I haven't had one of those calls or Zoom meetings or haven't created something, haven't, fill in the blank, that gives me that feeling in my stomach of at least some semblance of anxiety, I'm not growing, right? The things that gave me anxiety 5 years ago, most of them are commonplace today, right? That chaos is very much order now. So what's going to be the new thing, right? That was the ceiling, now it's the floor. Well, what's the new ceiling? And that's on us to create. That onus is on us to build, right? Constructing a different world means reassembling the pieces. And so I want that message to be clear. I want everyone to understand that when someone says, what you want is on the other side of fear, or keep going, don't give up. Well, why? The reason is because that chaos is your ticket to the next level, the next staircase. That anxiety and sometimes that suffering is a portal to transformation. And it's hard in the moment to understand that. I'd never sit here and say it's easy. But you know me, and one of the things that changed my life is the understanding that the best things are not easy. The value is in what's difficult. The meaning is in that unknown. I think life is a beautiful thing because the pieces we need are everywhere around us. And it's a really cool realization. It's like everything you need exists. It's out there. It's waiting for you to pick it up. It's waiting, it'll correspond with the picture you want to paint, the road you want to take. But that requires stepping off the stage you're on and heading towards another. So, I want to leave you with that understanding that you are climbing a staircase to something greater, to an evolved self. You're taking your potential and you're making something with it. But that means you won't always be comfortable. And when you look back, you'll be grateful. Right? You'll be grateful for those trials and tribulations. You'll be grateful for that chaos because it will be what made you.